Hello, my fellow journalers. It's Kaitlin, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a fun one. I'm going to be flipping through all of the pages in my bullet journal for the month of February. Lately, I've been going through a ton of pages in my journal, so I thought it'd be fun to do these monthly flip throughs so that I can show you everything that happened in my journal in the month, and also to make editing Kaitlin's life easier so she doesn't have to censor hundreds of pages every time I do a flip through. So that is what we're doing in today's video. We're going to be flipping through this guy. I'm going to show you all the pages I filled out in the month, and yeah, we're just gonna chat about it with hopefully a warm beverage on your end. Today I'm drinking this tea. It's a Irish tea by the brand Berries, which is my favorite tea. So I have this with a ton of milk in it, how I like it, and I hope you guys have a nice cozy beverage with you today as well. Alrighty, so without further ado, let's open up the journal, and I'm gonna go ahead and start with my yearly collections. Alright, so this is how my yearly collections look. For this flip through, I'm gonna show you guys the collections that I write down media that I consume during the month, because I just thought that would make sense. So starting off on this right page, I only read one book this month. I finished it in the middle of February, and it was called Make Time. And I have a giant list of books I want to read on sticky notes here, which I find just the easiest way to keep track of those. This month I also watched 2 movies. I don't record every movie on here, I just record ones that I really liked, and that was Hustlers and The Fast and Furious. For TV shows, I finished one, which was Mythic Quest at the beginning of the month. Really good. And for video games, I played one game. I finished the main story of Pokemon Legends Arceus on February 10th, and recently I finished the second story quest, which was also kind of wild. Very hard, actually. And then I have the adventure spread, which I haven't been filling out yet. And then this was supposed to be 1 photo a day, but I don't know if I'm gonna do this because I do post a lot of photos in my journal, so I might just kind of DNF this one. So after this spread, it just goes straight into my monthlies, which is over here. And this is the monthly setup that I created for February. I have my vision board on the left side. I have a quote with a header saying chapter 2 for the second month of the year, which is February, up top. And then I also have my February intentions on this sticky note. And you'll kind of see with this setup if you've seen my March plan with me. I did a really big overhaul of this setup because a lot of stuff just wasn't working. One thing I removed was this vision board because I found that every month the things I wanted to do didn't change that much. So I feel like every month my vision board had some type of thing I wanted to bake and had books and had journals, and I feel like it was just that, and it was just different photos of that, so it just kind of lost its meaning for me, so I decided to remove this in March. I have my calendar here, and you'll see the events are going to be censored just for security reasons, but I do just jot down highlights here because I do have a Google Calendar. I'll actually put a screenshot of that up here in case you're curious to see what it looks like. I just find the Google Calendar is a lot better with dealing with upcoming events that might be changing, but I do still like to write down the highlights in my bullet journal because, as you can probably see from that shot of my Google Calendar, there's a lot of stuff going on there, so it's not really a great tool for kind of looking back and reflecting on the monthly highlights, just because there's kind of an oversaturation of events going on there. Oh, there we go. This month I had a habit tracker on the left side, and I didn't use this at all, so I removed it for March. And then on the right hand side I have my task list, which stayed pretty much the same. I also had this content spread that I had for this channel. I decided to remove this in March as well because I just find content planning works better for me on Notion and in a separate journal. Because I do a lot of filming in my journal, it's kind of hard to have this stuff in here and reference while I'm filming, so that's why I find it a bit easier to have it kind of in a separate space. One thing I changed up this month that was different was I actually created all of my rolling weekly spreads right after my monthly spreads, and then after all of these, I went ahead and made my dailies. Previously, I would have, week 5 and then go straight into my daily logs, but these ones are all just together. And I decided to do that this month because I was getting a bit tired in February of setting up my weekly logs at the beginning of every week. I kind of just wanted them set up for me so that when I sat down to plan, I could just focus on writing down my task list and figuring out my weekly focuses. So that's why I set them up in advance, because at this point I know I use my rolling weekly every week, so it didn't really make sense to me to have to wait to set it up because I knew I was going to use it. So I just have weeks 5 through 8 set up on the next 4 pages, and for all of my rolling weeklies I have a focus at the top, and then I have my Alistair checklist, which has Monday through Sunday of that week, so I can plan out my to-do list. And I don't actually fill these out before the week starts. I start filling these out on the Sunday before the week starts, or sometimes the Monday if I'm a little less organized that week, and then I just use that to kind of plan out my daily logs. So I don't use these as a forward planning tool. All right, and then another big change this month was my daily logs. So I'll just throw in a B-roll clip right now of how my daily logs looked in January. Previously, they were very in line with the traditional bullet journal method, and I would just kind of create my daily logs one after the other. And as you can see for February, I switched to having a day per page. So these have been working really, really well for me, and the layout of my daily logs is really, really simple because I am making one of these every day. I wanted to make it super easy to set up just so that it would be easy to stay consistent. So I just stamp the date at the top using my rolling date stamp, and I stamp it in the Versamagic ink by the color name of Jumbo Java. And then I go ahead and add a moon phase at the top, and these stamps are the MU print icon stamp set in the moons. I'll link all these below, and for the moon I use the Versamagic chalk ink in the color wheat. So just a really simple header at the top, and some days I'll even go in and write out my daily logs and stamp the header after the fact because, I'll just do this while watching TV and it's super chill and fun, but making sure at the beginning of the day I'm able to write down and dump out my thoughts is definitely the priority for me. On this day, I stuck in some washi tape samples I got, which I thought was a fun way to decorate the page. And here you can see that there's 2 daily logs on the right page. This is because I like to split up my daily logs for Saturday and Sunday. I just don't have that much going on the weekend, so I thought it would make more sense to share the page. Oh, by the way, I'll throw up a shot of what my key is for my bullet journal daily logs. It's pretty similar to the original method. I think the only thing I've added is a heart for birthdays, and I also don't use the back migration arrow. I only use a forward arrow because I don't really migrate stuff into my future log. Okay, so that was the end of my 1 day per page daily logs. Because I split Saturday and Sunday on 1 page, I only used 24 pages for my daily logs. And right after them, I go into this new collection, which is my monthly notes collection. Sometimes I find that while I do like to make small meeting notes in my daily logs, if I have something that's kind of big and needs its own space, I do like to have space to write that down, which is why I made this collection right after my daily logs. And because it's at the end of my monthly setup, I have the flexibility to make this section as long or as short as I want it to be, and I don't have to worry about running out of room, which is really nice. So here I just make notes on collections that need more space, something like a coffee talk or a meeting, I'll just write in my daily log for that day. But something that's completely separate, like a project plan, which is, you can see right here. So a project plan, I will put in my notes section, and something that's kind of big and needs its own space, like this Pokemon type spreadsheet, I'll put in this area as well. So I just kind of take notes one after the other. I have my Pokemon spreadsheet here. I have notes on a Skillshare course I did over here. Some more notes for videos. I did a swatch page of some stationery I got. And then after my notes, I have my monthly review. So this is my February review. For my Feb review, I like to write down the highlights of the month. Then I write down my gratitude of the month. And then I write down my wins and accomplishments. And then for March, I have kind of like this getting ready for March section at the bottom, where I like to write my kind of check-in, where I like to rate how I feel physically, emotionally, and spiritually from 1 to 10, just to kind of get a gauge on my kind of energy levels and how I'm feeling going into the month. And also I like to write down things I'm looking forward to. And after that, it just goes straight into my March setup, which I haven't filled out yet, but you can watch the full plan with me video for this guy on my channel. I believe it's the previous video. And yeah, I just kind of go into it right afterwards and start the whole process again. So I did adopt a pretty similar process to how I did this month. And I also slimmed down a bunch of spreads in my monthly setup, just so I could cut out the spreads I wasn't using. All right, and that was a look at how the month went for me. That is a full month in my bullet journal, and I hope that you guys were able to see kind of a behind the scenes look at exactly how I use my bullet journal, because sometimes I find with my setup videos, you see all the blank spreads, but you wonder how you actually use those spreads in real life. So I hope this video kind of gave you that peek behind the curtain so you could see how exactly I use my journal day to day. And besides that, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye everybody.